Excited to have each and every one of you joining us for our Wednesday night webinar. We've got a great crowd again tonight. A lot of names I see up there in the participant column that are folks that I recognize. There's some names that I don't recognize. So welcome to all of our potential future business associates, whether you would be an elite distributor or a founder, if you decide to move forward with the business. That's part of what you're going to try to decide tonight in taking a look at this model and learning a lot about the Inkway business and how it might be able to benefit you. A little bit of background on me and why I might actually be qualified to talk to you about this is I've been a business coach as well as a business consultant and a business owner for quite a long time. Have a pretty good idea of the types of things you're going to want to look for in a business. So when you're looking at a business model, let's go over that for a minute and talk about what it takes to actually work a business and find out what it is that you're looking for. Well, one of the biggest things, you talk to any person who's had a successful business, they found a way to disrupt their marketplace. They found a way to go into an established market, something that wasn't brand spanking new or wasn't really, really old. It was an established market. They took a disruptive model in with a high quality product and they had great success. Well, our direct sales model is the only direct sales model that allows you to sell ink directly to consumers and office buildings and office managers and places like that. Ink and toner both in an established market. It's a $70 billion market right now. It'll go up to, in 2020, around $130 or $140 billion. We have a very high quality product. We're price competitive as long as you're comparing apples to apples. If you take a look at it and you look at our refillable reusable cartridges and the inkjet bottle pack that comes with them. We've also got the inkjet refill stations, the OEM cartridges. All of those things are in the price competitive range. I can't begin to say enough about what we do and how good it is for you and how good it is for the environment. It's a growing market. Like I said, it's going to basically double in size in 3.5 years. You've got a wide customer base. There's 2 printers in every home, 7 in every office. That's a lot of printers that are going to need ink and toner. It's no wonder there's 30 cartridges being sold every second. And again, in another couple of years, it's going to be more like 60 cartridges a second. Think about that for just a second. Just a second. 360 cartridges a minute. Those numbers kind of get staggering fast. And you're looking at 20,000 cartridges in an hour. Every hour of every day on average. All right. So you have a chance to get into a business that has a chance to grow, burgeon, and just explode for you if you continue to work it and go after it the way that you should. You want to cause that people believe in. Well, part of that is you. You have a direct sales model here. When you tell somebody, hey, I just started a new business, they generally want to try to help you out. If you can tell them, hey, I don't know where you get your ink cartridges and your cartridges at for your home printer or for your office printers, but do you know where they get them at? Well, I get them, at XYZ store, or I buy them online, or I do this or I do that. Do you know how much you're probably paying per gallon on that ink? We'll get to that in a minute. But again, price competitive, cause people believe in, and because we're doing refills for a lot of people, this is a green technology, meaning it is a environmental friendly business. It is a low carbon footprint business. It is a way to save the planet. And I can't begin to tell you how much that resonates with a lot of the people you can talk to about this business. Now, moving into the dinero of the model here, the compensation in various forms. It's really important in a business that you have more than one way to make money. I'd say it's very important in life to have more than one way to make money. Having a job and having a second job are always really good ideas. We'll get to that a little bit here too, a little bit later on. But you also want a company that does good support, that has good product and tech and training support, and will handle the stocking, shipping, and handling for your products when they send them out. You don't want a garage full of stuff you have to buy and then hope to sell and have to ship yourself and do all those kind of things. We do the stocking, the shipping, and the handling for you. We help you with product support. We help you with tech support. We help you with training. We do these Wednesday night webinars at 8 o'clock to introduce people to the business model. We do Thursdays at noon, which introduce people to the training for how to run the business. Each week as we move this forward, we're going to have more and more and more specific pieces to the Thursday noon pieces. They'll have an actual title on them. They won't just be called Thursday noon webinars. We're going to expand that. We're going to actually show you how to do each step of growing your business. Those videos then will be put up on inkwayusa.com so you can reference them, but you can also reference anybody you bring into this webinar that gets started in the business. You can show them how to grow their business. So we provide you some marketing materials. We provide you education and support. The other thing that's really important is a low entry price point and low monthly operation costs. Compared to a franchise or a licensing opportunity, this is one of the lowest priced business ventures that you could possibly get involved in. It is also a low monthly operations cost, and we'll show you how to recoup that money, what you need to do to recoup your monthly operation costs within each year as we move forward here. You also want an ability to begin now. You don't want to have to go through countless applications and a lot of time and a lot of effort that way. So again, all these things that are up here on the screen are all things we fulfill and we make easy for you. So I mentioned earlier, why do you want to have a second job, a business of your own on the side? Well, let's look at that second point first of all. There's less control than ever over stability of day jobs. There was a Towers Perrin report recently that showed 58% of Americans were worried about losing their job if the economy changes. But what's one thing the economy pretty much does on a pretty consistent basis? It changes. It doesn't take a big change for employers to get scared and start laying people off. If that happens to you, you want to have something in place, not only a business that you can be proud of, but a business that you can actually fall back on for some help if you're currently finding yourself laid off. Right now, there's a decrease of about $400 per month for the average American family. Your decrease in your household may have been absorbed by maybe your partner or spouse picking up a job. You're already having another job, not having your own company or your own business, but having something else you do secondarily. There's some big bonuses to this instead of doing something like that. First of all, you can make more per hour in general, and secondly, you can set your own hours. So why build a business? Well, you want to put that money back in your pocket so that you have more money than month instead of more month than money. A lot of times people get to the end of the month and they're saying, oh, I'm going to throw this last bill on the credit card. I'll pay it off next month. And then next month comes around and you're throwing another bill on the credit card because you couldn't quite manage to pull it off to pay the credit card back off, and now you've doubled up there. It's a scenario that a lot of folks go through. I know a lot of folks that go through it. In fact, I know a few folks that have looked at this business, some of whom have gotten in, and now they're making the money that they needed. They only needed an extra $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. We'll show you how to do all that here as we move forward. Now, we talked about why Inkway, but let's talk about why ink. People are getting ripped off when they buy ink. They're spending $9,000 a gallon. You can help them. You have a solution for all printers. And the going green aspect of this is huge for you if you play it properly. We'll talk about that as we move forward. I just said it's $9,000 a gallon that most people are spending. Our ink costs 8 cents a milliliter when you do the inkjet refill station and you refill for others. Theirs is at least $2 a milliliter, and when I say theirs, I mean the major manufacturers at the big box stores, the discount stores, the office supply stores, etc., etc. 8 cents a milliliter versus $2 a milliliter. Think about that for just a minute, and then realize how crazy that is, and you'll understand why this guy looks so bug-eyed in the bottom corner. I said we have a solution for every single printer. Doesn't matter if you use toner, doesn't matter if you use ink. One of my favorite things that we have a solution for about 80 different brands 80 different models, various different brands of printers, are these refillable, reusable cartridges. They look kind of like a little Tupperware tin with a little black rubber plug in them. You pull the plug out, you stick a syringe in, you squirt the ink in, you put the plug back in, you put it in your printer, and you're good to go. I've had them now for quite a while for my HP 6600. Lenny runs them on a Canon or an Epson, I forget which, in the office at Inkway. And you can use them for a lot of different printers. So especially if you're looking to buy a new printer, make sure you call and talk to us about which printer to buy so you can get these cartridges. And then you buy inkjet bottle packs, and you've got ink to last you for a really, really long time. It's an awesome solution, and I absolutely love it. Now, we talked about why it's important to go green. Those 30 cartridges sold per second that I mentioned before are a huge landfill issue, and they cause a lot of people to have a little bit of pause when you start talking to them about that. Why is that? Well, millennials, who are probably the most environment conscious generation of the last 5 or 6 generations at least, are looking at this and going, well, wait a minute, we're destroying our planet. Wait a minute, there's a lot of things that are causing carbon footprint issues. Wait a minute, there's something I can do here to reduce that? And guess what they're doing now? They're moving into office management positions. They're moving into buying decisions in households. A lot of them are in the position where they're starting to have children and they want to do things that are environmentally friendly. So get them to join the Inkway revolution. Show them the alternative we have of refill, reuse, recycle. And you're going to not only pick up customers, you're going to pick up potential elite distributors, potential founders, and last but not least, potential customers at the office parks and office buildings you're going to go into as you start to work your business. We talk about that a lot more on Thursdays at noon on how to grow your business, but right now, that's what we're going to say about it here. Now, I've been taught for a long time you don't ever say everyone's your customer. But in this case, I mean, think about it. Do you know anybody who uses ink? I'll bet you do, and I'll bet you really don't know too many people who don't use ink, which is probably the more relevant thing to say here. If you look on the left side, the personal side of this, whether it's a school kid, whether it's a parent, whether it's a grandparent or senior, whether it's a teacher or a hobbyist or a photographer, they all use ink. They all print, and they usually print at home for each of those sections or at a home office. On the right-hand side, you could have attorneys, you could have mortgage brokers, you could have doctor's offices, you could have realtors, you could have appraisers, you could have insurance company offices, you could have businesses, whether they're large or small. Now, granted, in a business, oftentimes it's toner, and sometimes they lease their equipment, and that toner is already part of the lease. So what do you do when you go into a place like that? I'll give you a quick tip here. This is one of those quick tips. In a business that you go into and you talk to them and they say, hey, Andy, I'm really sorry. Hey, Steve. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Sandy. I'm really sorry here, but we already lease all of our equipment. And that means we get our toner with it. Oh, okay. Well, do you have anybody that works from home? Do you have anybody on flex schedule or anything like that? Yeah, we've got 17 salespeople. Oh, we've got 35 people that work, in a flex situation. Do you think they have a printer at home? Well, they probably do. If I give you the link to my store, could you send it out to them? I'll even write an email for you that you can send. And it's amazing how many of these folks are willing to do that. Oftentimes they feel bad because they just had to say, sorry, we lease our printers. And if you've established a little bit of rapport with them, they don't want to say no. They want to be able to find a way to say yes, usually. So if they say no and you ask them for something they can do to replace that, they'll often do it. That's my experience anyway. Now, you also have churches and nonprofits and schools. Tomorrow in the Thursday afternoon webinar, we are going to take a deep dive on how to do fundraisers for churches, nonprofits, schools, sports teams, etc., etc., etc. These fundraisers are fantastic ways for A, founders to use their inkjet refill stations. B, for you to do something great for your community that gets talked about. And C, for you to build an ongoing customer base, because guess what? When people come in and get their inkjet cartridges refilled at a fundraiser, they're going to come back to you later and say, hey, you refilled my cartridges before, can you do it again? Yeah, you know what? And since that was a fundraiser, the prices were a little higher. So I'll tell you what, I'll do it for you for a lot less expensively this time. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang. What a great way to build a customer base. So, again, we'll talk about that more tomorrow, but it's something to certainly consider when everyone's a customer. Everyone. Now, this is part of what we talked about before, having multiple ways to get paid. As a founder, it's Best way to find that you're going to get paid up to 9 ways. 9 different ways you get paid as a founder. Now, bonus number 1 is you're going to get, let's say you buy $2,000 and that's 2 units of founder units. You're going to get a 1.5 bonus return on the purchase price when we hit certain numbers within the business. That's within the contract that goes out. I don't honestly remember the numbers off the top of my head. I probably should know them. I don't. But let me show you how with bonus number 2 and bonus number 7, you can return not only the money you put in, but $2,000 profit per $1,000 you put in to your business here pretty quickly. 50 refills turns into $750 worth of profit. You get 4 refill stations. So 4 times 750 is $3,000. You spend $1,000 per founding unit. That's a $2,000 net profit to you, and you've just gone through using your refill stations. Now, what does that mean? That means you go buy a few more refill stations. They cost $299.94, and you make $750. So each one of those then, moving forward, is at least a $450 profit. I know people who have done this within our company. I've talked to them a lot on Thursdays, a lot on Saturdays, a lot on Mondays. They're out working this business. They're talking about it. They're showing people what they can do. And they're ending up ordering more refill stations. They're ending up getting people coming to their web store. They're even getting people to come in and take a look at the business. So they end up getting money on bonuses 5 for the 10% of all web store sales, on bonus 6, which is an $80 referral opportunity bonus. So when you refer in an elite distributor who's paying their monthly fee at $49.99, and they get their first inkjet refill station, you get a $40 bonus right up front. 6 months later, when they paid that $49.99 and they get their next inkjet refill station, you get another $40. Now, let me back up a half a second. Did I just say that when you pay $49.99 for 6 months, you get a $300 inkjet refill station as part of what we do in the business? Absolutely. But wait, Andy, that $49.99 has to go towards something else. Well, actually, no, it really doesn't in this case. It is your monthly operation costs, and it allows us to do things like these things here, the tech support and the Inkway University and these webinars and the training webinars on Thursday, but we still send you out the inkjet refill stations 2 a year as a distributor, 2 a year as a founder, and a founder gets 4 refill stations per founding unit up front. Okay. The other thing, these inkjet refill stations, why do you want to sell them? Well, bonus number 8 is dependent entirely on inkjet refill station sales. The elite bonus pool is literally $31.50 out of that $299.94 goes into the elite bonus pool. Twice a year, at the end of December and the end of June, it is split up and sent out to everyone. Both founders and elite distributors get that bonus. Now, we're going to talk about bonus 3 and bonus 4 in this next piece. Maybe two or three slides from now, I guess we'll talk about that one. Sorry. And that's the bonus pool side of things that you want to be aware of and why you want to become a founder rather than just an elite distributor. Also, if you ever refer in a founder, there's a one-time $60 bonus sent your way immediately. Not a bad deal either. Now, I told you earlier we're going to show you how to pay for that $49.99 a month. In other words, I'm going to show you how to get 2 inkjet refill stations each year sent to you at no cost to you and run your business at no cost to you. How's that sound? Everybody a little excited about this? Because quite frankly, I feel like a magician when I show you guys this, because it is such a cool thing to be able to show and such a cool thing to be able to talk about and put out there. If just 8 people sign up as an elite distributor and stay on for the year, your monthly business expenses are covered as a distributor plus $40. 8 people. 8 people you bring in as an elite distributor or a founder. Think about that for just a minute. Doesn't take long to think about. Think about it for just a minute. Now, the next thing is, a lot of people say to me, hey, Andy, I need to make an extra $300, $500, $200, $400. Can you show me how to do that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because right here, we're going to show you how to start at 200. Whoops. Sorry, my drawing stinks with this. All right, if you start at 200 and you go up to 500. Okay, so if you refer 5 people at $40, you're going to get a $200 month. That's 5 people who become elite distributors or founders, and you're already at 200 for the month. Now, granted, I just showed you how to use that to pay for your business. So let's say you use that to pay for your business, and then you go out and refill 5 printers with this 20 cartridges. That's $250. If you total them up, it's $450. If you refer people to the website and you sell $500 worth of goods, which is not that hard to do. I just had a couple $1,000s worth of sales last month. You're going to get 10% of that. In this case, it's $50. Now, remember, not only do you get this money up front, but you're also going to get repeats, which is the residuals. You're going to get the referrals as well, which is people saying, hey, Steve, hey, Barry, hey, Tom, hey, Susan, hey, Sandy, I've got great news for you. I found this guy who refills my ink cartridges. I just had it happen with 2 friends. Two people came along as friends with somebody that I already was refilling for the other day. I sat at a sandwich shop over in Avondale Estates, which is right near where I live, and sat down, was ready to refill for her. She came in, and wouldn't you know it, one of her best friends who was at yoga class with her is along with her. And it turns out she's the office manager for a company that I've actually been trying to get hold of for the last 3 months. How wild and crazy coincidence is that? Now I've got her contact information, and she and I are already starting to talk about the idea of me sending out information to their entire sales staff, which, by the way, work from home and are 1099 employees, meaning they get no supplies from the company, meaning they set their own schedules, meaning they have their own equipment. So, you know, it's a huge opportunity for me because they've got a very large sales staff. And it could be the same similar opportunity for you. And this is why this business makes sense, because as soon as those people start ordering, I make that 10% right there for doing nothing other than having gotten my website out there. And every time they come back to order, their name's tagged to me, and I get credit every single time they come back. Now, the other things you have to remember, you get a share of the biannual elite bonus pool, which is the thing we talked about, the $31.50. But as a founder, you also get a part of these profit sharing pools, which are unbelievable. You're going to get 20% of company profits, both Inkway and AccuBrite. And so Inkway is the division you work for. AccuBrite's the wholesale division that goes to the catalog companies and places like that. It gets split into the 4 pools at 25% to each pool. So 20% of this profit, 20% of this profit. Let's say it's $100,000. Okay, there's profit coming in at $100,000. The pool A would get $25,000 dumped in. Pool B 25. Pool C 25. Pool D 25. Founders with at least 1 unit or a portion of the unit would share in Pool A. Now, that's not going to be a terribly huge check with $25,000 in there, and a couple hundred distributors and founders that fit into that category. Okay, but Pool B, when you have at least 2 shares, you share in Pools A and B, and Pool B suddenly got a lot smaller because there aren't as many founders by any means that have at least 2 units. Pool C is founders with at least 5 units, share in Pools A, B, and C. So your check from Pool A might be kind of small, your check from Pool B might be, okay, and your check from Pool C is going to look pretty good. Pool D, the purchasing founder with the most units takes the entire pool, all of it. In this case, it would be an example of $25,000. Again, it's just an example. I'm not making any promises. I just want to make sure everybody's clear there. I'm just trying to use round numbers that make sense. All right, now, why do I mention this? Well, because this and this are available not just to the folks that are new that could jump in for a $2,000 or $5,000 play into the business model, but These are also ways that if you already currently hold 1 or 1.5 or a half a unit or something up here, you can upgrade coming down to here and get yourselves into pool B or pool C. I'm telling you right now that this is a good time to do it because we have founder units available. If you snag them up and you run with them, then you're going to be in great shape. If you don't, you might be sorry later. All right, so we're going to move on. If I haven't said enough to convince you there, I'm not going to convince you ever. So what do we do? Well, again, Inkway University is kind of what happens on Thursdays at noon. We talk about things like opportunity launch, where you can get your landing pages and capture pages set up. We talk about LinkedIn training. We talk about social media training. We talk about things like, is it advantageous to use Twitter? How to use LinkedIn? How to use Facebook? How to use Instagram? How to use each one of these things. And again, I've been asked by a couple different people that have been making the Thursday webinar to please take the time and go through how to use each individual thing in depth. So we'll do a very quick overview on Thursdays of everything, and then we'll dive into one thing, one deep dive with one thing. The videos that are out there, we can customize them for you. If you want us to customize them for you, you just need to let us know, and we'll work out what it does, what it takes to do that. But we have ones that you're able to send out. There's one for a customer. There's one that is also built for elite distributors. And we probably will build one for founders here now that we have founder units that we know are available. I'm not promising anything there. I have to talk to Lenny about that and see how he wants to handle that. The other piece to mention to you is you've got banner ads and print ads. You've got other things there that you can use. On Inkway University, on InkwayUSA.com, there's the webinar and training section. There's a lot of videos in there that you can actually use and be able to send out to people and be able to talk to people by leveraging. The other piece is, Lenny likes to call this the Uber of ink. It's green.ink, or there's a couple other possibilities for the names for it. InkX, there's a couple other things along those lines that may be used. But the point being is it's an app for iPhone and Android. And just like Uber, they find you by punching in your zip code. They find you as the Inkman or Inkwoman of your region. That's something that's going to launch here as we have enough people coming on and paying their monthly dues and signing up as elite distributors and founders. So that's kind of an unlock. If you're familiar with the terminology used over on some of these funding sites and things like that, they hit certain levels and they unlock certain features. That's kind of what we're talking about here. This is an unlock piece. We have to get enough people in to help you be able to advertise and leverage your time and make money. The apps are already written. They're already done. All we have to do is be able to activate them, pay for them, and get them out there to you to get this running. But we need more people on board and more orders coming in so we can justify that cost. I think everybody here would understand that if you've ever run a business before. If you haven't, you do have to kind of take a look at that and say, what is it? What does it bring back in versus what does it cost? And you look at those types of things. Now, talking about getting things moving here, one of the biggest things you can do, if you're in the business, get to the Thursday webinars at noon. And if you can't get to them, go to the website, InkwayUSA.com. Right up in the middle, there's a little TV screen that says Training and Webinars. Click on it. Take a look at them. Look for the Thursday webinar at noon ones. They're going to start having actual titles like LinkedIn training or opportunity launch training or social media training or whatever else. I mean, there's going to be dozens and dozens of titles that we're going to put up there for you on the Thursdays at noon. The Wednesday nights at 8. Why do we run these? Because we want people to understand what is going on within the company, let you know of any changes or any new rollouts or anything big that's happening that way, but also to introduce the model to your prospects. We want you to bring people here. If you're not bringing people here, the Wednesday night webinars are, it's not bad to show up for your, to show up and be a part of this, because again, you might find out new news. But the main purpose of these Wednesday night webinars is to bring in people who have never seen the model before, prospects of yours that you want our help in introducing this as a business to. So as you go out to build your own business, Think about who else you know that would like a business. Begin advertising your website, your ability to refill. Begin leveraging the marketing tools and resources we've just talked about that you have to help yourself. And start asking people, hey, where do you buy your ink? Do you know how much ink costs most of us per gallon? It's kind of crazy. $9,000 a gallon. If I could show you a way to cut your price down massively on that, would you be interested? You would? Okay, great. Let me give you a couple different options. I can show you these inkjet refill stations, or I can give you the link to my website, and you can go and order from there. If you have any trouble, give me a call, and I'll be glad to walk you through how to do it. That's kind of what I do on a pretty regular basis. I talk to probably 10 people, 15 people every single week, at least. At least. And this is not my full-time job. But I'm still out there talking about it. I'm still out there pushing it, because guess what? I understand very completely how important it is to have multiple streams of income. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'll try to make this very quick. But about 2008, I had a marketing company that had a perfect storm or an imperfect storm of events happen that caused us to lose 9 out of 10 customers that we had. We had a 10 customer base of people that had us on retainer. 9 of them went away inside of 6.5 weeks for all sorts of different reasons. 2 of them had financial difficulties. A couple of them were bought by a conglomerate. They were all brother-sister companies to each other, and they were all bought out by one company way above them. My world changed in minutes, so it seemed. 6.5 weeks, in retrospect, was a very short time to watch everything kind of grind to a halt. I was down to having one client and one income stream, which was that business. Ever since that point, I have made sure that I have multiple streams of income. I have jobs that I do that are training. I have jobs that I do that are consulting. I have my own company. I have a couple other pieces that I do because I want multiple streams of income. I think it's really important, and it's something that I think most people are pretty darn curious about. So if you are curious and you want to get started, you can become an elite distributor for as little as $49.99 a month. And I recommend you do purchase the inkjet refill station up front for right around $300, and then get signed up for the $49.99 a month. That way you have an inkjet refill station, and a $300 investment with a $50 a month payment is really not a lot to get into a business that you can turn around and make a $450 profit on that inkjet refill station within the first month or 2 that you have it, as you start to talk to people about refilling for them. There's also still a handful of these founder units available. In fact, it may be a little bit more than a handful at this point, unless you got pretty big hands. So there's plenty of room to jump in as a founder at this point. Take the time to do so. Take the time to tell your friends that if they wanted to put down $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 on a business, it's not going to cost them the $25,000 plus the build out, plus the marketing fees each month, plus all these other things that a typical franchise would cost, or a licensing opportunity that might only cost $5 or $10 grand, but then you still have all these other expenses that go with it. Again, we handle all the stocking, the shipping, the handling, everything for you. We do a lot of the consulting for you if somebody calls in or writes into headquarters and says, hey, I've got a question. Well, we don't say go back to the person who referred you in. We say, let us help you. And we do the work for you, and you make the 10%. Not a bad deal. So again, very, very, very important that if you are interested, you send us an email at ceo@inkwayusa.com. And again, founders who already own units can upgrade. That is an option at this point. There are units available. And I truly believe that as we move forward and this market continues to grow, that it will be an opportunity that will, this door will close on the founder units at some point. And I think it's really important that everybody take a good hard look at it, figure out where they stand, and if they want to do more than what they're doing right now, now's the time to say so. If you want to get in and make this a business, and you're here tonight just to hear what the opportunity is like, I'm willing to take questions down in the chat. You can send me a private chat or a regular chat. Doesn't matter to me how you do it. I I'll be glad to take the questions. But if you're interested in signing up, send an email to CEO@inkwayusa.com or Andy, A-N-D-Y, at inkwayusa.com. Let me know you're interested. Let the CEO know you're interested in joining up. We will give us the best contact number you have. We'll get back to you immediately, either tonight, tomorrow, or Friday. We will be back with you as quickly as we can get to you. There are some times that we get a little overwhelmed with questions and thoughts and folks that want to sign up from a Wednesday night webinar, but we will get back to you before the end of the week to get you signed up and get you moving. Again, thank you very much for your time. If there's any questions, I'll take them now. I've got one coming in. Sandy. Okay, let's see here. Is there a payment plan for founder units? Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. Write CEO@inkwayusa.com and ask that question there, and maybe he can let you know what the best way to handle that would be. I can't make that decision for him, but right, and just it's Lenny, L-E-N-N-Y, in case you don't know that, and also let him know who brought you to the webinar this evening, or who it was that you talked to that told you to come here and check this out. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you too. All right, and then last but not least, let's see, we've got one more question coming in here. Susan. All right, so the question is, how many people are doing this across the country? I can tell you that if you're in a major metropolitan area, there may be one or two other people, maybe 3 or 4 other people that are actually distributors. There might be half of those number that are actually active and working hard. And then there's a lot of people scattered out in small towns and small rural areas across the entire country, in fact, across the world. But you know, the chances are pretty slim you're going to find somebody else in your own hometown. Again, unless you're in a suburb of a major city or in a major city. Then you might run into a few more people that are in that area. But to be fair, everyone uses Inc. So your network is going to be a lot different than their network. And even if we had 1,000 people operating in every major city, I don't think it's going to be any kind of issue for you to gain traction if you go out and work the business the way that we teach you to on Thursdays at noon. So again, please bring out your prospects next Wednesday night at 8. Thank you, by the way, Susan, for your question, and I hope the answer was what you were looking for. Again, my name is Andy the Inkster Grider, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time tonight to come out and spend about 40 minutes with us learning about Inkway USA and what an incredible opportunity you have in front of you here. Again, Andy Grider signing off for the evening. Thank you very much, folks.